welcome to another episode of the Sport Rep Show. My name is Jesse Jackson Kauraitha and I will be your host for today, uncovering the latest sports news in and beyond Namibian borders. Of course, we did have a few interviews done today, conducted on several administrators as well as former coaches. And now for the latest on the hit list. Well, the first positive news of the day is that Victoria de Souza reigns supreme in the 100 meters swimming competition. She storms to a first place in the 100-meter freestyle, beating Egypt and Algeria at the African School Games. It was a performance praised from her team members and those that travel to compete in that competition. And now we just recently also spoke to Cassius Moeti, Namibia Football Association Secretary General. He has been acting in that position. Now recently the NFA released a press release that stated that a meeting held last weekend Saturday was indeed successful and that the football clubs agreed to the terms of that meeting. However, yesterday some football clubs fired salvos at the NFA, suggesting that some of the details in the media release by the NFA was misleading. Now today's Sport Rep visited the Namibia Football House to speak to Cassius Moeti, who was responsible for the release of that press release, and this is what he had to say about it.
Well, as the Secretary General of the association, I'm sure there is a league director, which is Austrian and currently not available. So I would just like to hear from Mr. Moeti, in terms of this meeting, how did it go and what were some of the decisions made at this point?
I think what must be clear is this was a meeting, what we call the Chairman's Forum of the Namibia Premier League clubs, Namibia Premier Football League clubs, the 16 clubs. And all the chairpersons and representatives of each of the clubs, 2 per club, came to this Chairman's Forum. And the meeting, Chairman's Forum, didn't take place in quite a while. And it was really a meeting that produced good outcomes. The spirit and the discipline and the conduct of the chairpersons in the meeting was really cordial and respectful, and the matters that they have discussed were very serious matters concerning the Namibia Premier Football League and football in general. Remember, this is the top tier league of the country, and this is the league that attracts a lot of media attention and also the attention of our business community sponsors. So this meeting was necessary, and this meeting created a lot of interactions and engagement. This meeting have accommodated 3 new entrants that were promoted from the nationwide first division into the top tier league. But these newcomers are no strangers to the top tier league because they've been there before, probably under the previous NPL, and they were relegated and they have been out of the top tier league for a while and they came back. So they understand the fire in the top tier league. They understand the cost implications in the top tier league. They understand what it takes to remain there. If you are promoted from the nationwide first division, what you as club owner or the executive committee of the club or the supporters of the club and the community where the team is hailing from, what it takes to make sure that the team remains in there. It's not easy, it's very difficult. And I say this from experience. I've been the chairperson of Black Africa, a very successful team. Unfortunately, I don't want to talk about where it is today, but this is really what it means to be in the top tier league. So they have welcomed the 3 new entrants, and they have also, the new ones have also appreciated the current dynamics of the Namibia Premier Football League, and appreciated the sentiments of the feeling that the Namibia Premier Football League needs to be independent. Those were also sentiments that were expressed. However, as much as the forum decided to put a committee together that should work on the model to make the Namibia Premier Football League independent, some of the clubs also expressed serious concern about the fears that they don't know what they are going on their own, and that is funding, and that is the leadership and all that. But that would be a problem that the Namibia Premier Football League would deal with going forward. But the NFA is very happy with the outcome, the deliberations that come, and the resolution that they put together to put a committee together and work on the dynamics. And once they are done with it, they will bring it to the office of the General Secretary, and then engage the Executive Council, and then that the Executive Council will deliberate on what is on the table and consider all the aspects, that surround that motion, and then an announcement will be made. So it's not something that will happen today or tomorrow. We don't know how much time will go into that.
Okay, so it's safe to say that the league, maybe for the possible season coming forward, it was a great that it will still remain under leadership of
Absolutely, absolutely.
all right. Okay, welcoming these clubs, and we are looking forward to next season. And as you alluded to, a great feeling, well agreed between the clubs. Any resolutions?
Well, the top 8 is a competition that is good to have. In fact, not just the top 8. We need to have a lot of competitions within the football season, and that will help competitiveness and keep teams and players ready, without having too long intervals in between. We are inviting companies and business to come and sponsor football so that we have multiple competitions. But top 8 is one of them, and it will be announced at an appropriate platform between the NFA and the sponsor. And then the nation will be duly informed about the rollout of this top 8.
Anything you'd like to add in the spirit of football and going forward?
Well, I think NFA and the Executive Council is working beyond the call of duty to increase the narrative and the trajectory of football, to improve. And there's a lot of interesting developments that the NFA Executive Council has embarked upon, but the nation will be informed, particularly the football lovers, at the right time. What are these developments? And that these are developments that will excite a lot of football people, a lot of businesses. And football, as I said, is honestly on an upward trajectory, and we are looking forward to the new football season.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
That was Cassius Moeti speaking about the meeting. And now we also recently met with Woody Jacobs, former African Stars coach, a man that has coached a few teams and even into Botswana, where he spent a few months and a year as well in terms of coaching there. Now, Jacobs, one of the questions asked to him was why he feels many of the players here in Namibia travel to Botswana to look for greener pastures there, explaining that in Botswana, at least there is a bit and a sense of professionalism in terms of football. Let's hear from Woody Jacobs about others. Coach Woody, welcome to the show. As a man that has traveled a lot, served on several positions in terms of football coaching, I think my interest today will be about your journey in Botswana and the fact that so many Namibian players ought or prefer to play in that league rather than playing here at home. So, as a person that coached in that country, maybe just to expand more in terms of what are the perks of being in Botswana, or what do the players benefit rather than playing here in Namibia?
Well, to be honest with you, Jesse, yeah, it was a nice experience in Botswana. To be honest with you, I always wanted to taste the feeling of being a professional coach, waking up in the morning, planning a training session, doing 2 sessions a day, being all out just doing that. Because why I say that is because for the entire coaching career and span that I had in coaching in Namibia, it was always I had a full-time job, and then I would go and coach in the afternoon. So that was the difference first and foremost. And to be honest, I really loved the experience. I would love to go back there, but also remember that there's a lot happening also here, families here and all these things. Because I could not move my family and abruptly disrupt them and move them there. So hence I said when I came back to Namibia and I'm standing here at the NFA, that's now my employer, full-time employer. I said, why don't we also do that to Namibia and put them into a level where Botswana is. Jesse, the professionalism in Botswana is the one that stands out. And I think it's with no coincidence that a lot of our players has now made the exodus to Botswana, and I'm so pleased for them because even right now we don't know when the league is going to start. Botswana already had the fixtures out. They say going to start on the 15th of August. People are preparing their training and all these things. People are getting income. One of those things that we don't have. For June, July, our players here have been suffering, especially the ones that doesn't have an income, a steady income, that doesn't have a full-time job, that relies on this money as an income, that now has to look for other ways and means on how to stay alive and to make ends meet. So the reason why these people are flocking to Botswana is obviously they're in a better pay grade than us in terms of the remuneration that these players are receiving or coaches are receiving. And it's, I think that those are part of the push factors, the push factors for Namibia, that we are pushing them away because of our inconsistencies, etc., etc. And then we have the issue of what's pulling them to Botswana is the more organized. The leagues are, the matches are televised. They get bigger, better mileage. I also think if you look at Romeo Kasume, for instance, he made the move to Kosovo from Botswana, and Kennedy went to Cape Town Spurs, stuff like that. Benson went to SuperSport at the time because he was also there. Remember Benson was also playing for Gaborone United. So that for me is mainly the reason why I see that, and I think rightfully so. Now the benefits of them playing outside, they get regular game time. Right now, the Brave Warriors coach has to struggle with fitness of players because they've not been training. They need to go into a important encounter against Malawi and Sao Tome. So at the end of the day, it makes the life of the national coaches difficult to get players fit, keep them fit, and to keep them ready for all important World Cup qualifier. So now with more players making that trip eastwards, it benefits the national team because now players can play more regularly, like I said before. So I hope and I pray that our football bosses I'm just a coach, and they will always tell you that even though you have a lot to say about running of football, you are just a coach. But this coach is well traveled, well experienced to know that. Uh, I just pray and hope that my country can also reach the highs of Botswana, that at least tries to get into the bracket of South Africa and Morocco and Tunisia, where football is now regarded as a business. So, yeah, with that being said, the focus is solely on Botswana, and they're really doing well. They qualified now for the WAFCON. They played in the WAFCON, they did well. Their team is going to WAFCON as well, to AFCON as well. So, both the Gladiators and both the Warriors didn't qualify for these competitions, and it's because they are doing something right, and it's something that we need to say. Sometimes I say, don't just look what your neighbor is doing. Just see the neighbor is not making noise during the night and all these things. Why don't we also do the same? And maybe things will go right for us. So in essence, I think Botswana is really we can really take a leaf from Botswana's book and learn from them. But we are also not bemoaning. We have the capability. We have the people. We have the expertise. We have the players. I mean, if Namibian players is so sought after in Botswana, then you must know that we have some good talent in this country. So, to be honest with you, I really think we should learn from them. But I'm also happy for the players now playing there and showing what Namibian football is all about. Thank you so much.
Well, now on our Zoom In segment, Ames Moses of AC Promotions appealed to the business community to support boxing as he gears up to host an event soon. The Boxing Championship will be taking place in the capital. Let's hear from him.
Okay. Yeah, so August 16th, so AC Promotion will do a big fight that will be Special One Nangolo versus Real Wine Lawal from Nigeria for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship. So this fight will take place at the Roman Catholic Hall in Windhoek. So it's going to be a big fight. So we're going to have like 8 undercards. So we only have one challenge here, which is getting funds for this event. So that's why we're appealing to the government, we're appealing to the corporates so they can come and support this event, because in the failure to raise funds to cover this fight, so it will get us in whereby the WBO have to strip Special One and lose his title. And of course we invested a lot of money for getting this fight, and of course it's a good platform, and he's about to get in the top 15 in the world. And I'm appealing to the public, the business people to come on board. Of course, we are looking at the large amount of 300,000 Namibian dollars to 400,000 Namibian dollars to cover the events. That's now to cover the flight tickets, to cover the sanction fees, to cover the logistic of the events. So it's going to be a good fight. And of course, I'm also appealing to the president to look at us. So AC Promotion, we've been doing boxing for so many years without a sponsor. It's almost now 2 decades. And of course, we want the government to support us so we can help also the government to create employment for the youth. And of course, on the 17th of July, Walter Kautendoka will travel to Tjakstan, where he's going to compete in the 8 rounds in the super middleweight championship. Of course, he's going to fight in Tjakstan. So Walter will fight Dimitru Machrikov, and that fight is scheduled for 8 rounds, and it will be in Tjakstan, and it will take place on the 22nd of July. So he's leaving the country. He's leaving the country on the 17th of July, and myself, I'm on my way to Las Vegas, where I can accompany Special One. He's been there for training camp, and of course, we're also going to attend the fight for Manny Pacquiao that will take place on July 19 at the MGM Grand. So it's going to be a good experience, and also we're trying to see if we can also get assistance so we can be able to cover this fight. That's all I have for now, and see you guys 16 August. Get your ticket. The ticket go for 300 Namibian dollars. Table go for 20,000 Namibian dollars. That money we're trying to raise money so we can cover the event. But in the absence of the sponsorship, we're trying to make sure that we sell as much table as we can. If we can sell about 20 tables, that will probably make the amount that we need to cover the event. Thank you.
That was Ames Moses. And now we recently also held a meeting that with Olsen Kahiriri, who spoke about the professionalization of football in the country. Let's hear from him, and after that it will be Ariogat with the latest international news. From me, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, it is goodbye.
Thanks, Jesse, for visiting me at my office. No, it's professionalization of football is what one should support, because from my personal experience, the 2 weeks that I've now been engaging with my clients, which are the players, it looks like the way even their contractual obligations are structured and are very pathetic. There's no common standard as to contractual stability. Some are registered as amateur, some are registered as professionals, and there's no standard way of how these contracts ought to be set up and all these things. And that would see us what I'm seeing from the ground now. There will be a lot of battles when the league is about to start, on the basis of registrations of players, on the basis of what I've uncovered now when I'm assisting my clients in terms of them moving from clubs to clubs. And that boils up to professionalization of the game itself. Professionalization of football is long overdue. I don't know why we dismantled the Namibian Premier League and now we are starting from scratch. And every time you start from scratch, you will now have to start with the drafting of the rules and all these things in order for you to move professional. Now we are in the third, if I'm not mistaken, third season with a league being played under the NFA. And the NFA not indicating as letting this league go to become an entity on itself, because NFA's duty is to regulate football. They regulate football. They cannot run football. They must be able to regulate the game. Now, I support the clubs that says we need to run professional, because the rightful heirs of the league itself ought to be the clubs in that league at that current stage. Now, if it's run by the NFA, which is not part of the clubs, it becomes awkward, because
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with cycling news first. It is from the Tour de France Femme, and it was stage 5. And good news for Africa, it was Kim Lacourt of Mauritius that won stage 5, and it is a great achievement. She becomes the first African cyclist to win a stage on the Tour de France Femme, so well done to Kim Lacourt. Many Namibians will know her as being a teammate of Vera Lusa, also in many team events like the Cape Epic. What happened on stage 5 was that Kim Lacourt was part of 7 riders that broke away. That is on a 165-kilometer stage, and she won in the end with Demi Vollering in second position in stage 5. But more important, it was the yellow jersey leader. It was Marianne Vos that finished in 8th position behind Kim Lacourt, and that was 33 seconds behind her. Now in the general classifications, it is Kim Lacourt that will have the yellow jersey. Great achievement for her. She leads Paula Ferrand-Perret by 18 seconds, and then it's Demi Vollering 23 seconds further down. It is Marianne Vos that is 32 seconds behind the leader now. So great achievement by Kim Lacourt, winning stage 5 at the Tour de France Femme. On to tennis news. It is the Canadian Open that continues. In the men's side of the draw, Ben Shelton, number 4 seed, beat Adrian Mariano, and he beat him 6-2, 6-3. And then also it is a good performance by Radi Opelka. He's from the USA. He is unseeded. He beat the 16th seed Thomas Mašek by 7-6, 6-7 and 6-3. In the women's side of the draw, it was Wimbledon champion Iga Swiatek in action. She's number 2 seed, beating Hu Yagu from China, and she beat her 6-3 and 6-1. And then also good result for number 6 seed Madison Keys, beating Laura Sigmund 6-2 and 6-1. To close off today's international sports news, it is rugby news. The third and final test between the British and Irish Lions and Australia take place this coming weekend in Australia. And it is changes made on both teams. It is the Lions coach Andy Farrell that made 2 changes on his run on 15. Blair Kingon, he will play wing in place of James Lowe. And then also James Ryan, he comes in at lock for Ollie Chesham. So those are 2 changes for the Lions. And the Australian team, there's changes because of injury. It is the flanker Rob Valentini that's out. Tom Hooper replaces him. And it is also a new scrum half. The experienced Nick White will come into that scrum half position. And it is Tate McDermott that will be on the bench. So that is all rugby news. The British and Irish Lions playing Australia this coming Saturday. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day. We talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.